Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us in this on this live webinar. I'm excited to share some very useful information that you could put to use right away to increase your results. The Communication Breakthrough webinar is Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your attendance and joining this live webinar. I am excited to share some very useful information that you could be able to put to use right away to increase your results. The Communication Breakthrough webinar is going to provide you with information to understand and minimize communication barriers and achieve maximum results. Who is Focal Point and why are we here? Focal Point is a premier coaching and sales training organization. We are here to bring you the absolute best and most effective strategies and tactics that will set you apart from everyone else. Focal Point content and strategies are based on work of Brian Tracy, who has been in the business world for 40 years. He has written 70 books and trained thousands of salespeople and spoken to hundreds of thousands of people annually throughout the world. You probably quote his 100 times a day, his business sayings, but you don't know it. What does that mean to you? It means that what we discuss here is proven. Who am I? I'm your coach. I am Shuraya Aftahi. I have 30 years of business experience. I have a PhD in business management, and I'm a certified business coach and a corporate trainer. Can I redo? Sure. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on this live webinar. I'm excited to share some very useful information and tips that you could be able to put to use right away to increase your results. The Communication Breakthrough webinar is going to provide you with information and understand how to minimize communication barriers and achieve maximum results. Who are we? Focal Point is a premier coaching and training organization, and we're here to bring you the absolute best and most effective strategies and tactics that will set you apart from everyone else. The content and the strategies at Focal Point are based on the work of Brian Tracy. He has 40 years plus in business and sales experience. He has been a motivational speaker to hundreds of thousands of people annually, globally, and he has trained thousands of salespeople and written over 70 books. Brian Tracy is the founder of Focal Point Coaching. And what does all this mean to you is the fact that what the strategies and what we discuss has been proven to be successful. I am your coach, Shuraya Aftahi. I have 30 years of business experience. I'm a certified business coach and corporate trainer, and have a PhD in business management. And I am very pleased to be here with you today. As we walk you suddenly stop. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this live webinar. I'm excited to share very useful information that you would be able to put to use right away to increase your results. The Communication Breakthrough webinar is going to provide you with information to understand and minimize communication barriers and achieve maximum results. Focal Point, who are we and why are we here? Focal Point is a premier coaching and training organization. We are here to bring you the absolute best and most effective strategies and tactics that will set you apart from everyone else. The content and the approaches at Focal Point are based on the work of Brian Tracy. He has 40 years of business and sales experience, motivational speaker to hundreds of thousands of people annually and globally. He has trained thousands of salespeople and written over 70 books, and he's the founder of Brian Tracy Global Training Organization as well as Focal Point Coaching. Yours truly, I am Shorey Aftahi, your coach. I have 30 years of business experience, and I'm certified business coach and corporate trainer. I also have a PhD in business management. As we walk through the presentation, we will be identifying and highlighting behavioral styles, motivators, and the need to adapt in any situation, to connect, build trust faster and more effectively than you ever thought possible to improve results. The tool we are introducing today allows you to be strategic in communication and connect with any contact, taking you from a good communicator to a great communicator. The strategy applies to anyone you are communicating with because it focuses on communication needs of that individual. How you build trust, establish rapport, lock down the relationship, and resulting in more effective interaction. Communication is everything. Let's take a look at on how you can set yourself apart the way you communicate. First, I'd like to touch on the fact that we all have two different styles. We have a natural style and adapted style. Our natural style is inherent to us. It's comfortable. If we're left to our own, that's the way we want to do the job. However, as we perceive and how we perceive our environment is how we do the job. Basically, what the environment is requiring us to do the job. Let's talk about what generally we'll be covering in the next 25 minutes or so. Our agenda is communication strategies for behavioral styles, adapting, presentation of each style, and we will touch on motivators. We want to be like a chameleon. Why? Because we want to adapt to anyone we come in contact with. Basically, you need to understand, you need to adapt to a given situation and given environment for best possible results. And that is the same characteristic of the chameleon, adapting to their environment for best results for them. Good communication is about connecting, building trust, listening, and being heard and bringing about results. What's important for us is we all are looking for improving results. We all do. We all need better, more of it. If we are in a business, in this business of sales, you understand the first step towards closing a deal is to connect and to build trust, to be able to listen and to also to be heard. Have you thought about all the roles that you play in your lives, whether it is personal or professional, to connect with people and get results you want? First, you need to understand your role. Think about all the roles you play in your life and how impactful communication is in each role. Remember, people do things for their own reasons, not mine, and their agenda is different than mine. You deal with all kinds of people in different roles that you have, and they have their own agendas. The question is, how do you handle that? And also, did you know that if you are communicating with everyone the same way, you could be losing 75% of your opportunities, meaning you leave 75% of business on the table every day. So where does the 75% come from? Well, we'll answer that question shortly, but bottom line is that you need to capture the 75% that you could be missing. To do that, you need to understand the different behavioral styles, and by understanding those behavioral styles, you'll be able to adapt and capture more of those opportunities. There are only 4 behavioral styles. And I mentioned you could be leaving 75% on the table. Well, that's why, because you do belong to one of the groups. So that leaves 3 other groups that you may or may not be connecting with. Why behavioral styles? Because of the clear advantage it gives us to understand ourselves, our strengths, our challenges, in the way we respond to environment, and we recognize others by their observational language that we can, or observable language, I should say, that we pay attention to be able to adapt. Therefore, we connect to build trust and get better results. Well, let's quickly go to the 4 styles. The first one is a director. 19% of population belongs to this group, and their primary behavioral style is dominance. Influencer, 32% of population, and the behavioral style is influence, steady or relator. 35% of people belong to this group, and the primary behavioral style is steadiness. And compliant or analyzer, 14% of people belong to this group, and their primary style is compliant. Let's take a closer look here. The C's and the D's are task-oriented. The S's and the I's are people-oriented. On the other hand, the C's and the S's are introverts, and the D's and the I's are extroverts. These all matter. I like to highlight the fact that all of us have a blend of all the styles. We're not just one. It's a blend. However, what we pay attention to, what predominantly the way we communicate, live our lives, and connect to people is based on the one that's most noticeable. Taking another look in a different way. So when you look at this slide, you'll see an energy line right at the center, and you'll see the intensity of a high. And that really depends on where you fall in this spectrum and what blend you have in your styles as to which group you belong to. For the purpose of this webinar, we're going to focus on the behavior which is most noticeable, meaning if your primary score or highest score is in D, we'll put you in the D category. Adapting to each behavioral style is important because it has a purpose of allowing us making stronger and faster connections. Remember that you want to be a gracious host. You're not manipulative, but you are a gracious host, and it's all about the other person. It's about your guest. Your ability to identify quickly and adapt to certain communication styles is what sets you apart. Let's talk about how we adapt, why, what we need to notice. If you're communicating with someone who has a D style, you are talking to someone who is ambitious, forceful, decisive. They're strong-willed, independent, and goal-oriented. You want to be very clear, specific, brief, and to the point. Stick to business, and be very well organized and prepared in the material and the package that you hand over. What would deteriorate or deter the connection in communicating and connecting with a D is if you are irrelevant in your conversation. If you get on issues that are irrelevant to the topic. If you are leaving loopholes or the issue is cloudy, is not very concise and clear. And also, if you appear to be disorganized, then you have hindered connecting with that individual. The next group is the S. The S's are patient. They're predictable, reliable. They're steady, relaxed, and very modest people. How you can connect or their need in communication is for you to be personal. Start with a personal comment and break the ice. Present your case in a soft and non-threatening way, and ask how questions to draw them in and get them engaged in your conversation. What would undermine your communication with the S is if you rush into the business without an icebreaker, if you are domineering, if you're dominating that conversation, if you're demanding in your conversation, if you are forcing them to give you quick responses and setting any objective that is unreasonable, then you have left a lot on the table in communicating with that S personality type. The I's are magnetic people. They're energetic. They're enthusiastic. They are demonstrative. And also, they're political. Provide a warm and friendly environment. Be friendly. Don't deal with a lot of details. Make sure you have it ready to hand it over. But in your conversation, you want to not get into too many details. And ask feeling questions to draw them in, to get their opinion and get them engaged in your communication. Now, if you are curt, cold, or very tight-lipped in your approach, you would undermine your communication with an I. If you're controlling the conversation, not engaging them in and allow them to contribute to the conversation, and if you're driving on facts and figures and alternatives, then you pretty much lose the interest in that communication from an I. And you will not maximize on what you had set out to achieve in that connection. And the C, when you're communicating with a C, you're talking to someone who's very dependent, very neat, conservative, perfectionist. They're very careful and compliant. So it's very important that you prepare your case in advance. Make sure your case is solid. Stick to business and be very accurate and realistic on the deadlines and objectives that you set out with them or for them. What would undermine your communication with a C is if you get too informal, giddy, and casual, if you get loud, and also if you're pushing too hard, if you're pushing to get response from them too hard and set out deadlines and objectives that are unreasonable, and being disorganized and messy, you would pretty much lose the connection with the C. Let's look at all this in practice, because not everyone you come in contact has taken a DISC assessment that you know of. So you must be able to identify the styles in normal, everyday interactions. We all go to lunch. We ask people to go lunch with us. So if someone says, I'm going to lunch, are you in? Or they say, let's go to lunch together, it'll be a blast. They perhaps would say, anyone else wants to go to lunch at 11:45 so we can get that table near the fireplace? And the next one, who wants to go to lunch today at 11:40 because it's supposed to be really nice? The weatherman said it'll be 75, no wind, and we can get one of the best 3 tables on the patio. Well, all 4 messages said the same thing, let's go to lunch. But you see how different they are being said? That difference provides you information as to what behavioral style that individual has. Let's look at that in writing communication, in written communication, I should say. You had attended or facilitated a project meeting, and these are the 4 responses you get back. The first one says, thanks for your help on the Kilroy project. Here is my summary outlining our discussions and next steps. The next one reads, thank you for your time and energy at the Kilroy project meeting last Thursday. I'm very excited about what we accomplished and look forward to working with you to make it happen. Here are the highlights from the meeting and what we expect moving forward. The third reads, thank you for taking the time to meet with me about the Kilroy project last Thursday. It was a pleasure working with you and rewarding to have accomplished so much. The highlights from the meeting are captured below, and I look forward to reviewing the next steps. Thank you for working with me on the Kilroy project last Thursday. We were very productive at limited time. Below, please find a full review of decisions we made along with the next steps. Well, these four said the same thing. They talked about a meeting, it was effective, and what the follow-up is. However, they said it in four different ways. Reading these responses, you could clearly see the first one is a D, and next three ones are all the other styles that we don't have time to get into, but it is important to realize how your behavioral style comes through in your written communication. Let's think about we're walking to someone's office. If it's a C-style office, you will see that their organizational tendencies are all over their work environment. Basically, they're very neat, they're highly organized, they're clean, and everything in their office is shipshape. Even things that are on the walls, shelves, desks, there is organization everywhere. They're very functional people. They look for functionality and efficiency. So therefore, you will see a functional decor in their office. You look for items that enhance efficiency in their office. And they're non-contact people, so expect them to sit behind their desk while they're talking to you because their personal space is sacred to them. Next is if you walk into someone's office who's an ass. Remember, they're friendly people. So you will see, but they are also understated. So you look for the conservatively framed personal slogans all over their office. You will see group photographs. You will see very serene landscape or posters on their walls. And you will see pictures of their family on their desk, and they're framed as such that they can see it. They can see the pictures. They're friendly, warm, and they like the personal touch. Expect that they would come around and sit next to you when they have a conversation with you instead of sitting behind their desk. And the eyes. Well, the eyes are the social butterflies. And they're very, very friendly people. The one thing that is probably screams out in someone's office that is an eye is the clutter. You will see their desks full of papers. You see the papers on the desk sometimes flowing on the ground. It's a disarray. Disorganization screams out, however. If you ask them, how do you find anything in this clutter, they would say, oh, yeah, I can find everything. There is a method to my madness. There is an organization in their disorganization. So in an eye's office, you might want to look for prestigious awards. You would like to look for personal comments and emphasis. You would want to look for motivational, uplifting quotes and pictures. They like open, airy, lively environments, very warm, and they will come and sit next to you because they like to be accessible. And they might even reach out. They're okay to touch. They're not so afraid of their personal space being invaded. They will sit next to you. They probably reach out and touch your shoulder and as such, and you should be comfortable doing so as well. And certainly last but not the least is the D. The Ds will definitely are people that are about power and control and authority. So when you walk into their office, you will see signs and evidence of authority and control everywhere. You will see trophies, results of their success, their personal achievements. You will see it all over the room. You will see the environment is about hustle and bustle and making things happen. It's about power, and that's how they are. They are doing many things at the same time, and results are very, very important to them. They're very goal-oriented. Expect to see a calendar outlining and identifying the different projects, timelines, deadlines on it. And expect to see a power desk. They do prefer to have their personal space kept sacred. So they don't like to get close, so therefore they will keep distance by sitting behind their desk as they engage with you and communicate with you. At the same time, you will see family pictures all over the room, but expect those family pictures to be placed outwards for you to see it versus the S that puts personal family pictures in a way that they can see it. So these are all the factors that you can look for in an office from a D to be able to understand and adapt in your communication. Now, how do we adapt? How do we adapt our style? Well, there are clues. Someone who's an S, they like to have distance, we talked about that already. So keep your distance. Have a firm posture, direct eye contact, and I should say firm posture, and have very minimal or no gestures at all. Get distracted if you have a lot of gestures. And controlled and direct voice. You want to have a thoughtful voice, but with little or no modulation. So you're not going to do the high and lows. Their pace is slow. So if you're a fast speaker, you need to slow down and match their speed. The words and the content that usually appeals to them and catches their attention, that they would shake their head and nod their head in yes response, is these are the facts. Here are the facts. No risk. Proven, analysis, guaranteed. These are the words that you want to include in your communication, whether it's verbal, written, in your proposal, that would catch their attention. If you're talking to a D, your body language should include keeping your distance, again, strong handshake, direct eye contact, and controlled gestures. You want to be leaning forward. Your tone of voice should be strong, clear, loud, and very confident and direct. Keep in mind that D's are very fast-paced people, and they're also abrupt. They kind of cut you off. And you want to be cognizant of that because you want to match their speed and not be taken off by their abrupt intrusion in the conversation. The words that impact D's are win, lead the field, result, now, new, and challenges. D's like new things all the time. They get bored with old stuff. They don't stay with traditional things. They want things to be refreshed and new, and they all want everything now, today, this moment. And they thrive on challenge. So include these types of words, these words, in your communication for a maximum connection and benefit. Now, the S's are relaxed. They're very methodical. You want to lean back. You want to be having friendly eye contact and very small gestures. Your tone of voice should be warm, soft, steady, but low in volume because that's what an S responds to. Their pace is slow. If you're a fast talker, learn how to slow down your speaking. And the content and the words that they respond to is step by step because they are about a system, methodological. Hand me or help me out, or guarantee, or promise, and think about it. Including these words maximizes the connection. And the last but not the least is the eye. The body language should be friendly. You should be comfortable getting close to them. They're okay with touch. Have a relaxed humor about you. And friendly eye contact is very important. Eyes are very expressive. Do not hesitate to be expressive and use gestures. They're okay with it. And tone of voice should be enthusiastic, high and lows in modulation, and friendly, definitely energized. When you talk to an eye, they energize you, and you've got to energize them back. Their pace is fast, and they skip around. They're not abrupt, but they don't stay on one topic. They skip around. So be cognizant of that. And the words and the content that appeal to them are fun, I feel, sociable, will make you look good, and exciting. Quickly, we're going to touch on motivators. That's another aspect of a DISC profile or DISC assessment that is very helpful to us in understanding where do we fit in and what is best for us. And also, if we know it about others, it's a great way to communicate. Motivators are personal interests, attitudes, and values we hold dear that guide our lives and the steps we take. They're in 5 categories: individualistic and political. These are folks that thrive on power. That's the most valued attribute in their lives. The 3 theoretical people are all about knowledge and learning. Their appetite for learning is very high. And utilitarian, utilitarian or economic is the folks that really put money first. Money is the most important, and also all the other stuff that's useful. They look for useful things. Traditional regulatory are folks that look for harmony. They look for tradition. They look for unity and order, and that's how they live. They seek a system for living. And aesthetic are those that look for harmony in their lives. That's the most important thing. In their environment, in how they do business, they look for harmony. It's important to, again, highlight we all have these values in our lives and in our styles. However, which one scores highest is where we focus, because that's the most prominent way that we think and value things, and the actions that we take are based on those. Why use assessments? Well, because it gives us tangible benefits and tangible results. Helps us be better communicators and improve productivity and results, and definitely reduce destructive stress that none of us would want in our lives. If you're in the business of hiring others, you want this would actually be very beneficial to you, as you would reduce that hiring. There was the wrong hiring decisions, right? And you would hire the right people for the right job, and increase engagement. When people are in the right job, they're more engaged with what they do because they like it, they enjoy it. And also maximize on your training and development efforts, because you create effectiveness in how you train and manage folks. And definitely, at the end of the day, it's all about results and what we get out of what we do every day and how we do it. The question to you is, how will you break through your communication barriers? We've shared a lot of good information with you today that we hope you'll find useful, and recommend that you do invest in getting a full DISC assessment. You can find DISC assessments online that are free, but they're not the full version of the assessment. Get the full assessment, DISC assessment done, and master the art and the science of communication by understanding yourself and other people's styles. We will be offering a workshop, a half-a-day workshop in August that focuses on DISC assessment and that mastery. Not only includes the full assessment, but also includes the debrief as well as the full-on training. How do you master that skill? Thank you very much. At this point, I end the webinar and welcome you to ask any questions you may have.